The young man knew that the companions outside would be eaten by man-eating ants, but he did not choose to warn them. Instead, he watched them being devoured one by the man-eating ants, because in his previous life they had been surrounded by man-eating ants, and trapped inside a ring of fire. The fuel keeping the flames burning ran out. Before the sun rose, the man-eating ants would eat them. The friend pushed the young man out of the safe zone to attract the ants' attention. Then he escaped with the young man's girlfriend. The young man opened his eyes and found himself back at the guest house. The scene before him was when they had just arrived, and were preparing to divide up the rooms. Only then did the young man realize he had been reborn. Looking at the ants at his feet, he knew they were man-eating ants. He tried to warn those who were fighting to leave this place quickly, otherwise everyone would be eaten by the man-eating ants. His friend and girlfriend treated him like an idiot. They mocked him as cowardly and pathetic for being afraid of ants. At that moment, the guest house owner brought a kettle of water and poured it into an ant nest. Seeing this, the young man was terrified. He told everyone that these man-eating ants held grudges. Tonight other man-eating ants would surely come to retaliate, but no one there believed him. They even thought he was crazy in making a scene. The guest house owner explained that it was normal to have some insects and ants in the mountains. The rooms had been specially treated to ensure safety. Soon everyone chose their rooms exactly the same as in his previous life. When the junior was about to enter her room, the young man suddenly stopped her. He warned that a ceiling beam would fall and crush her leg. The guest house owner and the junior thought the young man was talking nonsense. Unexpectedly, the next second the beam crashed heavily to the ground. The junior was stunned. If not for the young man calling out to her, she would have surely been severely injured. Therefore she believed what the young man had said before. Seeing that it was getting dark, they had to hurry and prepare defenses. Just as they went out to search for supplies, the others were still happily chatting. When the young man returned with supplies, his friend and girlfriend began mocking him again, because all the guest house's luxury rooms had already been chosen. The young man could only stay in an abandoned kitchen. Although the place was dirty and smelly, it stored vinegar, the thing man-eating ants feared most. With that vinegar, the man-eating ants posed no threat to him. Afterwards he used tools and planks to seal the room properly. The junior worried about his poor living conditions, and suggested he sleep in her guest room tonight. The young man refused her kindness, explaining that the kitchen with vinegar was the safest place. Then he gave a bottle of vinegar to the junior for self-defense. At night the young man's friend and girlfriend were being affectionate in the yard. Suddenly a huge ant crawled up the girlfriend's leg. The friend slapped and killed that ant. The young man realized this was very bad. He rushed out and said the ant was a scout for the man-eating ants. After the scout dies it releases pheromones that will attract the ant swarm. The girlfriend not only didn't believe him, she thought he was crazy and cowardly. She wanted to break up with him right then and there. In fact, the girlfriend had long been involved with the young man's friend. She publicly taunted him for not having powerful friends. Hearing the girlfriend's words, the young man trembled with anger. Eventually, when the young man and his friend quarreled over the girlfriend, the guest house owner came running at the noise. He told them to go to sleep and not disturb the others. To apologize, the friend took out grape juice and began eating and drinking with the others in the yard. The young man watched them and silently counted down 3 seconds. Soon a dark, dense swarm of ants surged in from all directions. When the others saw many ants on their legs they were terrified. Remembering the young man's warning that these were man-eating ants, it was now too late to escape.